I apologize, this is no Dade County. I have no 745 or there's no palm trees around, but this black on black A8 must have been real gangsta 13 years ago when it was new. Usually within these reviews, people like to start off with all the subjective, like how does it feel to drive or how does it feel to sit in. Well, it feels excellent, it's an A8. But let's skip all that for now and let's talk about the objective part. The costs, the facts. Over the period of ownership of this very vehicle, given that by the time of the purchase it was an 11-year-old premium car, I can't really complain about the reliability it has offered to me. The first 2.5 years of the ownership of this car really accrued no other costs to me other than the regular maintenance every car requires. During this time, it has left me stranded exactly 3 times. First time was in the summer of 2020 when the power steering line started leaking. The second time was September of 2021 when the starter quit its contract. To be fair, the starter had been failing since I bought this car, so it was due to come anyway. And the third time is the real cautionary tale of December of 2021 when it developed an electrical fault which caused the battery drain, which in turn fried the air suspension compressor. But now, during the third time it left me stranded and actual parts of this car started failing, it really stopped me from singing its praises as being in a bargain basement premium daily. For example, this is an air compressor pump. A new one of these will set you back 750 euros. I got mine, quote unquote new, for 200 used. The rear left shock absorber had started leaking. New one of these, OEM, 1,400 euros. B part, 750 euros. Even though the relatively low purchasing cost of this car at 4,255 euros, when things started breaking, your world would start shaking. Fucking nonsense. Quattro 4-wheel drive is such an integral part of the Audi brand identity. Most of the mid to full-size Audi vehicles come equipped with it as standard. But the reality is that for the 95% of the Audi users, 90% of the time, it gets no use whatsoever. How do I know my car has Quattro? This winter it happened to snow a bit more. If anyone asks why Quattro is superior, so I have Stadless Nordic winter tires, SP on, so it will help me, but still, like, I can go nuts with it and it still stays on the road. Let's try it with the ESP Elf. 50 kilometers per hour, no traction control, 4-wheel drive. I mean, it's just plowing straight. I was even accelerating a bit. Everybody who's a bit of a race driver, so to say, in heart, knows this kind of shit. But if I would demonstrate it to a regular person, some random woman, man, shitty driver, their minds would be blown if they would see this shit. 4-wheel drive, what an amazing invention, combined with proper tires, of course, because in the end of the day the tires are the key, and then comes everything else, so don't forget it. Okay, I'm gonna refuel a bit now because I'm in the poor person zone, and I am really poor at the moment, but anyway, I need to refuel. So I got to go a bit sideways and make a few parking lot donuts. Other than that, it measures mostly cleaned up city streets, and it really doesn't matter what wheel drive your car is there. My car has the 3.2 liter V6 petrol engine, and it has brakes, discs and calipers, all 4 corners with ABS. Something like a V8 TDI, W12 or S8 is bound to have larger discs and calipers, but it will also come with a hefty price tag maintenance-wise. This A8 most likely has some sort of common disc and caliper setup from the Audi lineup, and that is very useful for an everyday user like me, because that means the parts are readily available and the parts are cheap. I just got a new set of discs and pads up front for this car, and that was 250 euros. For 250 euros, I'm sure you can get exactly about 1/10 of an S8 carbon ceramic front disc. So new set of discs and pads for 250, or 1/10 of a carbon ceramic disc. I don't think they sell carbon ceramic discs in sections. The suspension. This car has the sport air suspension, and how to describe it to you? This car was out of commission for the last 2 months because it needed some bit of overdue maintenance. So I was driving a 2011 Toyota Prius as a daily, and this car compared to a 2011 Toyota Prius is like riding on a cloud, because that Prius is like riding in a wooden cart. With this, I'm not trying to say that Toyota Prius is a bad daily driver. I have some experience with Subarus, and this is not any different than any Impreza I've been in. Comparison with the A8 is quite unfair, but the harshness of the suspension, I know they sold GT86s out of the showroom with Prius tires. Maybe the GT86s were also sold with Prius suspension, because for an Econobox, this is very hard. It's not soft at all. That's what she said. The suspension has 4 setting options: lift, automatic, comfort and dynamic. Between the last 3, I can't make out much of a difference, but the lift option obviously lifts up the car, and that is very useful to use on rough terrain. There is not much to be said about the Tiptronic gearbox in 2022. I mean, it works. For my liking, it kind of keeps the gears too high. For example, right now I'm doing 50 kilometers an hour and it's in 5th. Ideally, in my mind, it should be in 4th. But other than that, I don't really have any comments about it. It does work. Now, last but not least, we come to the engines. Now, the engines you would like to have in this car for daily driving is the 4.2 V8 TDI, W12, SH V10, why not? But what I could vouch for 15 years and at least 200,000 kilometers in is this exact feeble little V6 petrol 191 kilowatt engine, or the 4.2 FSI V8, because of one simple fact: reliability and simplicity. Daily driving these cars will come at a cost compared to a Volkswagen Golf of similar age, but these NA petrol engines are the most simple ones out of these all. Obviously, W12 and SH V10 are also NA petrol engines, but with the regular V6 and the V8, you just have less of everything, which means they're cheaper to run, which means they are more foolproof. And even this V6 FSI engine at its 191 kilowatts, it has plenty of poke, plenty of power for your everyday use. And to be honest, I never had the aim to own this V6. This was the last engine I was planning to get with this D3, but after owning it for 3 years now, I can say that it will get the job done. I mean, it's nothing special, but it will get the job done, and it's not expensive to run. Don't be fooled. For an average 2.0 diesel person, this car is a guzzler, but to me personally, it's pretty reasonable for what you get. Roll the fuel economy mixtape. I went to the local car store. This is what I came out with: all the various injector and petrol system cleaners. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna start off from the most expensive one. Will these make my car run better or not? Whoa. The official start of the quote-unquote test is at 187,760 kilometers. Another 297 kilometers has gone by. I'm gonna pour in the juice first, and then I'm gonna refuel. Fuel consumption is completely normal. Another 292.6 kilometers has passed. Let's kick this into high gear with high gear. 46 liters almost, and 98 as always. Another 220 kilometers has passed. Today is the second to last bottle of juice I'm gonna let through my system. The last batch of juice went in at 188,741 kilometers. I refueled about 22 liters. Sitting behind the steering wheel of an A8, I don't know what there's much more to ask for. The sport version of the seats feels comfortable to me. I got a steering wheel, even flappy paddles, and obviously the electronics are dated since the first models on this chassis started rolling out from the factory in 2002. Even the rear seat is not a bad place to be. I'm 2 meters and 105 kilos, and here you have me enjoying an 8-hour drive behind my own driving position with a cold beverage in my hand. I even heard there's room in the boot.
I found out from a friend that for a sedan, the D3 A8 even has ample boot space. Let's say about the 2 meter, 105 kilo person can fit in the boot easily, I tell you that.
Like with everything in life, this review needs to come to some sort of a conclusion, so I'm going to end it like this. If paying a bit more at the pump doesn't weaken your knees, if having an occasional 4-figure repair bill doesn't cause hunger in your household, and if having the newest iPhone in the dashboard is not a requirement, then this car offers a plenty of driving comfort and pleasure even at its advanced stage. Howdy!
And last but not least, to all my right-hand drive challenged uncoordinated homeboys. Right-hand drive in left-hand traffic for 3 years. What a feat, eh? I have had quite a bit of squeaking, the thing that little grey mice do, on the part of it being right-hand drive and thus worthless or undesirable vehicle for that reason. All you dumbasses have missed the whole point on this car, so I will say it straight out. At the time of the purchase of this vehicle, the only similar car for sale in Estonia was listed for 11,000 euros. I bought this car more or less exactly for 4,200 euros. If you miss my drift here, then I got the same car for about 6,000 to 7,000 euros cheaper. 62% off. Are you still following? I have the same car for 4,200 euros, which meant I could consume this car as a 4,200 euro car, not like an 11,000 euro car. Yeah? I did not have to worry about every little parking lot ding or dent that inevitably my co-inhabitants caused in various settings. I could drive this car without overly worrying about any aspect of consuming it, bodywork getting molested or wear and tear in the interior. If there was a check engine light, I had no reason to run to the first service shop to save my precious lease or youth family loan gem. Rains in pours, breakdowns in scores. I got this car just to drive it as a daily without having an incentive to fiddle with it like it was some sort of a show car. I know there are quite many people who have such time and money to spend on their daily driver, and that is really their problem to begin with. I just wanted to commute in peace. In conclusion, I just got a comfortable and, dare I say it, quote-unquote, luxurious, compared to a Corolla, daily vehicle for next to no money, and the location of the steering wheel has got nothing to do with everyday usage value this car has offered to me. Could I in theory get something newer as a lease or on a loan? I think I could, but I will 10 times over have something like this that is old but my own, rather than some grueling monetary obligation that will break down the same but offers not much more as far as driving pleasure goes. Or God forbid something like a Skoda or some crap like that.
Türa küll noh.